then, my guest today is part of one of the best bands Britain has ever produced, and I don't say that lightly. They've sold millions of albums, and I'm absolutely delighted to announce details of a brand new one today as well. It's a big Wave 102 welcome to James Dean Bradfield. It's only the Manic Street Preachers. Good morning.
Hello there, Davey. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, great to speak to you, honestly. What a thrill. It's great to have you on. Not only that, we're dead excited about the new album and the new single. We'll chat about that during this interview. Rewind the Film is out on the 16th of September. First question, how long did it take to put that together then?
I think the record took around about 2 years to record, but it kind of took a year if you take away the one record, I suppose. We started before we played the O2 show in a kind of when we played there Christmas a couple of years back.
Now, the new single, Show Me Wonder, is a great record. We'll play that in a few minutes. Is the single a good example of the flavour of the album? I know it's sounding slightly different. Is that kind of... Can we get anything from the single?
I think the single definitely has more of a celebratory aspect to it compared to the rest of the record. I mean, there are certain themes on the album which kind of deals with, you know, perhaps losing people around you, and kind of like it has a sense of mortality. Also, there are moments on there where we're actually still, you know, celebrating the things that we absolutely cling to and love as well. But Show Me the Wonder kind of has perhaps a slight misleading kind of like happier edge to it.
Right, okay. Moving into dangerous area here, James. Some critics are saying the band sounds less angry these days. How would you answer that? Do you think that's fair comment, or...? I
would say in this record, like I said, you know, there are a lot of themes, a lot of very grown-up themes, and dealing with the kind of the folly of still being a rock and roll band at the age of 44. So they're not things that are kind of drenched in anger so much. You know, they're a bit more reflective in nature. But there is one song on the album called 30-Year War, which is probably one of the most political things we've ever written, and it's the last song on the record, and that has quite a lot of anger and bile in it. So sometimes, you know, that old kind of fiery nature of the Manics still raises its head, definitely.
As I say, we're kind of moving into a delicate area here. I'll use the word mature, James, as opposed to getting old.
You go for it, don't worry about it.
As we mature in life, do you find that you become less angry or more angry? I'm thinking more about the music business than just your life in general. What are you thinking?
I don't know, I think, well, there is a lyric on the record that says, how I hate middle age in between acceptance and rage. And I think, you know, that's kind of where you sit sometimes. You accept that things change and you've got to move on with it. And you can't keep looking back at the times which you think are glorious through sepia-tinged eyes, you know. You've got to let some things go. But yeah, there's still a lot of things that, you know, you can still get angry about that manages to get our dander up, to use an old-fashioned word. But I think you strike a balance as you get older. You're not as nihilistic. You're a tiny bit more constructive in the way you criticise things, I think.
The thing I like about your music is, you know, it's evolved, it's diversified over the years, but it's still important, it's still very now. Do you think, you know, music still has the ability to make you think? I mean, the Manics have done that very well over the years. Is it still as important now, listening to the lyrics of the songs, do you think?
I think so for me. I mean, I'm still a record buying obsessive, you know, this month, you know, I've bought kind of albums by acts like Little Arrow, White Hills, you know, kind of, and I'm still looking for that song that's going to shape the day I'm living in. And I still think it's really important for music to change people the way it changed us, I think. I mean, you know, the Sex Pistols kind of changed us indelibly, so did The Clash, so did Public Enemy, you know, and lots of other stuff. And sometimes I think it's harder for a song to define a generation's anger, like God Save the Queen did by Sex Pistols, or like White Riot by The Clash did, or Fight the Power by Public Enemy. You know, those songs really kind of seem to shape, and that doesn't seem to happen so much anymore. So kind of, I still think it's important, but it gets rarer and rarer, I think.
Okay, let's take a little break and let's get one of my favourite songs from the band on the radio right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Manic Street Preachers, and this is A Design for Life. A Design for Life, the Manic Street Preacher. Delighted to tell you that James is my guest on the programme this morning. Now, Show Me the Wonder is out on the 8th of September, and I was watching the video for it last night. It looks like it's been filmed in a small working man's club or a pub. Did that bring back memories for you?
I mean, kind of, you know, the video for Show Me the Wonder is set in a working men's club in Porth, in kind of higher West Wales kind of thing.
Right.
And it's not so much nostalgia as a flashback, I think. And you know, we were wearing, you know, pretty much period garb for it. You know, I had a polyester shirt on, I had this heavy leather jacket and sideburns. I've never felt hotter in my life. I felt like I had a flame inside my head. You know, you realise how much of a fire risk those clothes were in the 70s kind of thing.
Hey, I still got some of them clothes in my wardrobe, friend.
Oh, God, Jesus, my dad still is, definitely. And there is a sense to the song, Show Me the Wonder, to having a bit of a Sam Cooke-esque, Dexys Midnight Runners kind of like, you know, retro style to it. And we just felt it suited that era of time from, you know, going to those working men's clubs in South Wales that I used to go to with my mum and dad and stuff. There's a warmth and innocence there, and that adds itself to Show Me the Wonder, because, you know, the actual lyric of Show Me the Wonder is about how sometimes you just don't want to believe in anything. You don't want to listen to the argument between, you know, the religious lobby and the scientific lobby. You actually don't want everything to be explained. You just actually want to have a sense of innocence about things sometimes. So it all ties in with the video and stuff. What motivates you? You just keep on coming up with this great stuff. I mean, how do you do that? It's just really simple, I think. Why would you stop doing a job you love? It's just, you know, unless somebody forces you, unless somebody, you know, presses a golden carriage clock into your hand and tells you to stop working, you're not going to stop. You know, my father's still working, he's 71 years old, and he refuses to stop, and I kind of like to think I've got a bit of that in me. And sometimes I just think, like I talked about the song on the album earlier, this song called 30-Year War, and that's a very political song, and I don't think anybody else writes that lyric. So, you know, even if it's just even if that's just the single reason why we're still going, is that we write certain songs that other people don't write, then that's enough for me. And we just love being with each other. You know, we've all known each other since we were born. You know, Sean, the drummer, is my cousin. He's virtually my brother, really. And Nick's been my best friend since I was 6 years old. You know, why would you want a different job than that? It's brilliant. It's true. Now, I read somewhere that, you know, you had more songs than you needed, and might even be another album released next year. Is there any truth in that? Yeah, there is, yeah. We were, when we were recording this album, we were kind of switching off one side of our brain, and then you know, it's very much more experimental and jagged, and it's kind of more European. So kind of, yeah, we went a bit schizo in the studio in these last 2 years. We made one kind of gentle, soulful, acoustic-based album, and then the other record is just much more experimental and awkward and just a bit nastier. So we were kind of inhabiting two versions of the same band, you know, at the same time, which is perhaps folly, a bit misguided, but we enjoyed it. Great. Now, the Manics are a brilliant live band as well, I've got to say that to you right here. And I mean, there's a lot of gigging going on as well. I see Belfast on the list, London, Manchester. And you're coming to Scotland, you beat the Glasgow Barrowlands on the 26th of September. What's it like playing in Scotland? You get a good response here, James? Yeah, I mean, kind of like, you know, we've played Dundee, we've played Aberdeen, we've played Edinburgh, which was an amazing gig. Some of the most aggressive seagulls I've ever come across. But kind of like, you can have like places like Cade Hall and kind of like, you know, and Barrowlands, and, you know, just, I think this must be our 15th time back at Barrowlands, which is amazing, because I remember watching a video of Big Country play Barrowlands in the mid-80s, and I remember watching this video of Big Country thinking, oh, I'd love to play there one day. And I never ever kind of lose the thrill of going to Barrowlands, because I know what that feeling was like of wanting to actually play there. Is there such a thing as a favourite song when you're playing live? What's the one that really gets the crowd? Is there such a thing? I mean, there's so many to choose from, isn't there? It's kind of, I mean, kind of, whenever we play Design for Life, you kind of always feel that there's a connection in the chorus where kind of, you know, where the lyrics are, you know, we don't talk about love, we just want to get drunk. And we are not allowed to spend because we are told that this is the end. You always kind of feel that people really violently connect with that part of the song somehow. So I love playing Design for Life, and there's a thrill of playing a song like If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next. You know, getting a crowd of 4,000 people to sing along to a song about the Spanish Civil War, you know, is kind of an achievement in my kind of strange head. And it's always filled with like strange moments in a Manics concert. But you know, we kind of kick off with Motorcycle Emptiness, because I'm a bit of a diddly-da, doodly-doodly guitarist. I like letting it rip kind of thing, so I never get bored of playing that riff. Brilliant. Now, see, as a songwriter, performer, and obviously the band itself, I mean, there can't be much left for you to achieve. Do you plan ahead much? Are you thinking yourself, I must do this, or just take it as it comes, or? I don't know, I think we have lots of mad, silly things in our heads that we want to do, you know. We'd love to kind of, you know, compose the ultimate film soundtrack, and get an Oscar nomination or something like that.
Hey, you never know.
We had this mad idea of trying to do our version of like Tommy by The Who once, but call it Taffy instead. But that was just a silly idea. But kind of sometimes you feel like you just want to carry on. You just want to carry on, and you just want to kind of. You just want to find where you're going in a very organic kind of way. But more than anything, you just can't imagine not doing it. It's not so much about these kind of like massive, broad stroke ambitions anymore. You just feel as if you want to stay in the groove and you just want to keep doing it.
Listen, great to chat to you, James. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for making another great album as well. We look forward to seeing that and hearing it and catching you live when you come to Glasgow. Real pleasure to speak to you. Would you do me one favour? Would you introduce your new single, please, to the Wave 102 audience? We'll get it on the radio right now.
Hello, this is James Bradfield from the Manic Preachers, and this is our new single, Show Me the Wonder.